Senior police officers from 18 different forces spent more than 2 hours at the Electoral Commission this lunchtime, together with officials from the Crown Prosecution Service. They had to decide their next steps on the allegations made by this programme about Tory spending in dozens of seats at the general election last year.
Sir, were you in the meeting?
We've shown how in South Thanet the Tories spent more than £20,000 on hotel bills for party staff and volunteers, which was not included on their legal spending return. And in dozens of seats from Cornwall to Lancashire, they spent tens of thousands on a fleet of battle buses and hotels to bus volunteers in to fight for specific candidates. Again, these costs weren't listed on those candidates' spending returns. Under election law, any offences have to be prosecuted within 12 months. And after today's meeting, the National Police Chiefs Council said it's now up to local forces to consider whether they want to apply for time extensions. But today's meeting was quite strained, we understand, reflecting the different responsibilities. And whilst we understand that the Electoral Commission urged police forces to apply for more time, some of them said they haven't yet seen the evidence to justify that, and haven't even seen all the evidence that the Electoral Commission's got. Earlier, the former Tory co-chairman Grant Shapps was grilled about the matter on the BBC Daily Politics.
But compliance wasn't my side of things. The campaigning side was my side, but not the money and the finance.
But you were behind this whole battle bus business.
It was the actual campaign itself, not the compliance.
So you didn't wonder as to where the charges were being made?
As I say, I'm not one to shirk my responsibilities.
Well,
I stood
like
down on my own account for something unrelated to that, but this side of things was not my side.
But an email leaked to us suggests the Battle Bus project was very much Grant Shapps' baby. The organiser, Mark Clark, wrote to the North Cornwall campaign team on the 30th of April last year about Battle Bus.
It has the full financial, organisational and practical support of Conservative headquarters, the personal sponsorship of the party chairman Grant Shapps, and has been signed off by Linton Crosby,
party strategist
Stephen Gilbert,
David Cameron's political secretary,
and Lord Feldman,
party co-chairman. I caught up with Shapps myself.
The Battle Bus was a national campaign, and I think CCHQ...
It's a campaign for candidates locally.
Let me ask you a question. I think CCHQ took the view, or takes the view, as I understand it, as all part of the national campaign, very well advertised, part of the national thing. One thing I didn't...
It's a campaign for local candidates like Scott Mann.
So one thing I wasn't responsible for, and I've taken responsibility for things that were, was the financing side and the compliance side, and they had a compliance department.
You must have known where the money was coming from.
Well, as I say, the compliance side wasn't my part of things,
well,
but
was it Lord Feldman's part then? Are you trying to blame him?
There's a compliance department.
David Cameron's political secretary Stephen Gilbert was also copied in to another email talking about the Battle Bus trip to North Cornwall the next day. Tomorrow is massive for the campaign, it said, and I believe could well make a difference. Attached was a briefing note telling volunteers to tell voters on doorsteps they were calling on behalf of Scott Mann, your Conservative candidate, adding, "This seat is one of just 23 we need to win to make sure David Cameron is in number 10. The implications of all this are potentially huge. If police forces were to go to court to ask for more time to investigate, they'd almost certainly have to name individual candidates and their seats, and that could put dozens of Tory MPs in the frame. And if those MPs subsequently were prosecuted, convicted and disqualified, then the government could in theory lose its slim majority in the House of Commons. Michael Crick, Channel 4 News at the Electoral Commission.